Hello everyone, xin chào and konnichiwa. My name is Genki Luna and I'm an American from New York, now living in Vietnam. If you know me, you know that I'm a huge fan of trains. And to me, trains are not just about getting from point A to point B. They're a window into a city's culture. Growing up in New York, I relied on the subway every day. It's massive and connects the entire city, but it can also, let's say, use some improvements. Then I spent 2 years in Japan, where the trains are on another level. They're clean, punctual, and so well organized. I also tried trains in South Korea, Thailand, and Taiwan. They all share one thing in common. They're modern, efficient, and easy to use. So yeah, my standards for metro systems are pretty high. When I first heard that Saigon, famous for its scooters, was going to open its first metro line, I knew that I had to check it out. A good metro isn't just about getting to places faster. It can completely change the way that you experience a city, and I wanted to see that for myself. So today, I'm going to take you along for my very first ride on the Saigon Metro. So let's start with a quick overview of the line itself. And if you already know this stuff, then you can go ahead and skip to the next part. I've created some timestamps for you guys. So Saigon's Line 1 stretches 19.7 kilometers, connecting Ben 10 Market at the heart of the city to Suite Teen. It has 14 stations, 3 underground and 11 elevated. And this is just the beginning. There are plans for more lines to connect even more neighborhoods in the future. Now, compared to metro systems in New York, Tokyo, and Seoul, Saigon's metro is relatively tiny. Those cities have dozens of lines that can take you anywhere you need to go, but they're not perfect either. New York is a little bit chaotic. Tokyo and Seoul, while they're clean and efficient, their stations feel like mazes. There's like 45 exits, and often I don't even know which one to take. What I like about Saigon's metro is, even though it's small, it connects key places like the Opera House and Tao Ding. And these are areas that locals and tourists already go to. So the line feels like it's built to be useful right from the start. Even though it's small, it's a smart first step. I boarded the Opera House station for my first ride, and honestly, I was really impressed. The station is clean, modern, and really spacious. It feels open, bright, and it made me feel very welcome. A lot of metro stations that I've been to, especially in older systems, can feel a little bit dark or cramped, but this one had a fresh, organized vibe. And I think having this kind of train station really sets a positive tone for the rest of the journey. One thing that I really like is the fact that they have public restrooms inside the stations. And they're clean. That's not something you could take for granted in bigger systems like New York City's metro. It's a small detail, but it's the kind of things that makes you feel like the system was designed with the passenger in mind. And honestly, sometimes you just gotta go. And if you have to leave the train station because you have 50 more minutes on your ride and you have to find the restroom, then that's not very convenient. And I've had to do that in New York several times, unfortunately. So overall, I'm pretty impressed with this aspect of it. Now let's talk about ticket and accessibility. Getting into a station was a lot smoother than I expected. Right now, the rides are free until January 21st, but the ticketing system is already set up and ready to go. So there are a few ways that you can get a ticket. You can scan a QR code through an app, swipe your MasterCard at the gates, or use a paper ticket that you get from one of the machines. Right now, the machines are not working because the tickets are free, but I think they are going to start working after January 21st. So this makes it pretty flexible. I like the fact that I can just take out my credit card and pay like that. Although I don't have a MasterCard, I think this will be great for people who do have MasterCards, and maybe in the future they'll also expand to Visa, etc. I'm not really sure. For me, another area of accessibility is the service, and I had a phenomenal experience. So when I first got into the station, I looked around trying to figure out the signs, and one of the staff members came right up to me and asked, "How can I help you?" in English. And that super small gesture made a huge difference. Even though I've been living in Vietnam for a long time and I speak Vietnamese, I think it's nice to have someone come up to me and ask. And if I put myself in the position of people who have never been to Vietnam or don't speak Vietnamese, it feels really good to have someone come up to you and ask if they can help, right? Those are the small gestures that really change the experience. Another thing that stood out is that there were signs everywhere, and they were in English and in Vietnamese. So even when it's busy and you might not have the opportunity to speak to someone, there's still a clear way to get to where you need to go. So overall, this part of the experience left a pretty positive impression. And one thing that I can say is if you're coming to Saigon and you don't speak the language, The ticketing is pretty accessible here and it feels very user-friendly and welcoming. Alright, now let's jump into the little details that make a big difference. First, the trains are fully air-conditioned, which is a relief in Saigon's heat. Instead of dreading a hot, stuffy commute, you can actually look forward to a comfortable ride. Second, I have to give credit to the design of the stations. They're not just functional, they're also thoughtfully designed to blend into the city. Take Taodian Station for instance. It has this beautiful walkway that gives you a fantastic view of the areas as you approach the platform. It doesn't feel just like a stop on a metro, it feels like a part of the city itself. Another thing I noticed was how quiet the trains were. There's no loud screeching or banging noises that you might expect from older systems. Everything feels pretty smooth and modern, which adds to the overall sense of comfort. The trains themselves are also pretty well designed. They have plenty of standing room and seats that are spaced out enough to feel comfortable. Right now, it's a little bit more crowded than usual, so there's not a lot of standing space because everybody wants to check it out. But I think once this hype kind of goes away, it'll be a lot more comfortable. So really these details, the scenic walkways, the smoother ride, tells me that there was a lot of thought in the design of these train stations. So all in all, Saigon's new metro really impressed me. For a city known by its endless motorbikes, this line really feels like a game changer. It's clean, modern, and thoughtfully designed. There's spacious train stations, air-conditioned trains, and you can really tell that a lot of effort was put in to making a system that people will actually enjoy. Sure, there are things that can be improved, but again, overall, I was really impressed with this, and I look forward to using the trains often here. And if you're in Saigon, I highly recommend giving it a try. Whether you're commuting, exploring, or just curious, it's worth the experience. Have you tried the Saigon train station yet? Let me know in the comments. And please let me know if you want me to continue making videos like this exploring Vietnam and offering my perspective. See you in the next video.